So we're outside here at Tango Towers, and this is my Harrier CBHQ, which lives in my radio van. And as you know, these sets have got these fiberboard sides which are covered with a vinyl veneer, especially if you get the dust off them. Now, sometimes these sets come in with really worn out side cheeks, perhaps have been stored damply and the veneers come off, but this one's absolutely acceptable, no problem at all. And we've seen one or two of those, and somebody requested that would it be possible to make replacement sides. Well, the answer is yes. And so this is a video of didn't want to put off any longer. There's another video I don't want to put off any longer, which is putting that 300 milliwatt transportable PE Ranger back together and sending it back to the customer. But they're all time-consuming jobs, and with this organ job being on, it's times of an essence. So I'm going to take some time out today, and we're going to make some side cheeks. So when you actually take the lid off, you can see that it's screwed to the metal case, each cheek, with 5 screws. So we're just going to take those out right now. So you can see what we're left with. Some of you who can remember 1980, 81 will remember that when UKCB launched in 1981, prior to that, once the MPT 1320 specification being issued by our government, and here comes the bus, there were quite a number of mock-ups, and one was the Binatone Power Base 5, which was pretty much like that but without the side cheek. So you can see that would be a perfectly acceptable case, but they've sexed it up a bit, and it's finished on 3 sides. No, it's only finished on 2 sides, folks. So it's not finished on the back, and it's not finished on the underside. So there you go. I've not looked into that before. Certainly doesn't need to be finished on the bottom, but they haven't done on the back. Now this technique, where you've got small holes there, which are bigger here, is called counter boring. And they've used these screws, which I've never seen the likes of before, but people say they use this kind of thing in carburetors, where you've got a lot of thicker smooth bit, and then I think it's M4 these, but we've got ordinary M4 screws. So here's the trick. I can't get these. I'm going to make a pair of these which are identical, and then I'm going to make a pair of these which will suit the screws we can get. So there we are. So I bought some furniture board in, suitable. Not quite that colour, but I could either get, I think there were 2 colours, white, black and some kind of wood. So we'll dig that out. So as you can see, the cheek on there, we've got just more than the right width. So that's the plan. And if I can just pull this towards us, can we see what I got this from Wix. It's about £17, so I don't think they're not gonna sell you a foot of it, are they, you know? So furniture board, is it 9mm? I'll tell you. So it's 15mm by 150mm, and it's 2.4 meters long. Melamine face chipboard, suitable for furniture and shelving, and of course we've decided it's suitable for CB radio base stations. So all I need to do, we've got 2 choices. I can run this the whole length through the circular saw. I think we'll just mark off 4 of these plus a bit. And we'll just run that through the cut-off saw. so it makes it a bit less of a faff to work with. Okay, well that saw's not quite the right width. I'm not going to snap it off, it's just about done that itself. Yeah, that saw lives outside. You can see how much I've bothered. Right, we'll put the longer bit back in the organ workshop. And we'll work with this shorter bit. So it's finished on all sides, so whatever we do, we're going to remove the finish on one side. So I'm going to run this through the circular saw. I can't really show you that. So now we're left with 4 pieces that are finished on that edge, but are now cut through on that edge, which we're going to run a belt sander over. So next thing, this will now fit in this saw, won't it? I should of course be using a square to do this, but there you go. So you get the idea. Right, we'll just run this belt sander over them. We do have a bench sander which would be better, but it's difficult to show. So you get the gist of that as well now. So now we've got some of those, we will get the pillar drill out. Right, I've set up the pillar drill and I've marked from the face side, because you've got an inside, you've got an outside, so you're going to choose your best side for the face side. Always drill from the face side. So I've marked it through where they are, and we're going to put these holes through with a woodworking bit which has a point. I'm actually going to switch it on with the point touching. This is just for accuracy. hopefully it'll line up somewhere and not fly. Just borrow this drill bit. No, we'll borrow one of the screws. I've not gone through, that's the problem. No wonder I couldn't see the holes through it. Good. So if we do this one the same as the factory original, these holes need expanding to whatever they are. I've got a tape measure with me, I've got a rule here, there we go. It's 10mm. We'll have this as our one with the smaller screws. I should have brought one across with me, but they're not much bigger than the head on that kind of thing. So it still wants counter boring, but not to the same degree as this. I'll show you this one on another piece. So then the plan is to put a bigger drill bit in, which I've just done, and to counter bore it to a limited depth. We can set the depth on this type of drill, but just for the demonstration, we'll just do it freehand. But you do want this to be exactly the same on all screws. So now the inside hole is smaller than the outside hole. So, good demonstration. It needs to be a bit bigger for these particular screws, which aren't the ones which we're going to be using. I'll just go and put a bigger drill in. It was just handy. I thought, oh, that looks about right. But I was wrong. So we ended up with a 9mm bit. So if these were the screws, which are not, they would go into there and be hidden. So imagine that, if that was the actual screw. We've got two of them here somewhere. They would actually be hidden from sight. So that would be our replacement screw type, rather than the big ones which we wouldn't know how to order them as, those great big ones. So now I'm going to make one which is just the same as the original, and really we need to start off by doing the big hole first, but being careful to only take it to that depth. And to do that, we'll use a zip bit, or do they call them flat bits in this country? Goodness knows what. So let's see what it is. It's 17mm. Well, we've got 18. How stupid would that be? It is 18. It's 18. So we'll pop that drill bit out. I'll swap it for that. Need to take the table down a bit. Of course you could use a hand drill, but you're going to have a danger of it not being quite vertical. So I've marked up this one as well. I'll try and get it in the centre. start. Let's see what depth we actually need. So we look at the original. About 6mm. Again, I can set the depth on this, but just for speed we won't bother. So now we need to go through with that small one, which is about 4.5mm, I would say. See if we've got a 4.5mm drill bit. Actually, I'm telling you wrong. It doesn't need a 4.5mm, does it, on this side? It needs 10mm on this side. So we can just go through. We're actually marked. We can go through from the other side, which will actually make a better job. So that's 9mm, isn't it? Just go and see if I've got a 10. The answer is we haven't got another 10 here. Of course we've got another 10mm, but it's in another kit of tools elsewhere. So just for speed of demonstration, we'll use another zip bit. Because it's marked on the other side, we can go through with this one in absolute safety. So there we have it with the shoulders just like the original one is. So the final thing to do, mind you, this is MDF, which is more suited than chipboard. The final thing, and we could use a hand drill for this, is to put these holes in as pilot holes for the wood screws. I'll tell you what, I'll just do a hand drill with that. just for a laugh, we'll actually screw this one to there. Now I would always recommend putting screws in with grease. So just for the demonstration, we'll just put a couple of screws in. So the other thing that remains to be done is to put trim on here. So we've got these now on this radio, not finished because I cannot find the iron-on strip to finish the front. But you see, these are counterboard to take those original screws, or the other one we made would be counterboard for standard screws. So that gives, I'm going to keep those on this radio, and that gives me a pair of spare ones when we buy a set in, which is a bit more iffy than this one. And the other thing we'll address in the future on this is I think we've probably sprayed this black, but I need to get the chart out, don't I, to find out what the colour is for that, and to do that. So we'll revisit this at some time in the future, and we'll put the iron-on strips on. I'll just have to buy some more. I've looked high and low. I did buy it. It's not cheap, but there we go. We've got it with the cheeks, slightly different colour. But there you go. So I'll put that back in the van, get some more strip, but that is the kind of gist of what we're trying to do on that. So thanks for watching a bit of woodworking. See you next time.